What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 30 of the Yamcast. 30 whole episodes, about 40 hours of material.
Absolutely.
If you wanted to do that back to back to back to back, it would help our stats, I think, if you did that. I don't know anything about podcasts. We just do this for fun. Today, we've got news from Yamaha, Ducati, and Honda. Big news from all of them. We're then going to be doing the call-in section of our podcast as usual, taking wonderful questions from our Discord member. And at the end of today's show, we will be doing the meme showdown between Yamaha and Kawasaki. We'll see, will the Kyles prevail or will the partition Yamaha R riders prevail? We shall see. Let's get into it today. Alrighty, Spite, we're going on with the news here. What is first up on the chopping block?
Our first piece of news, Yamaha has discontinued 3 separate motorcycles from its lineup. The YZF R6, which is sort of kind of discontinued. It's discontinued in street trim. The VMAX, which is just Dunzo, and the WR250R, which is also Dunzo.
This is the end of an era.
It really is.
Honestly, like, things are changing. The motorcycle industry is seriously changing, and this is really reflective of that. Mm-hmm. Which one are you most sad about leaving?
Honestly, I think the VMAX.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because the VMAX is a stupid motorcycle.
Yeah, and an iconic one, too.
Yes. The original VMAX was a Widowmaker back in the day.
Oh, my God, yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It had a single disc brake up front.
Mm-hmm, and a drum in the back.
Yeah, to stop a bike that made that much power.
Yep.
So for those of you who don't know, the VMAX is a 1600cc V4. It's just bonkers.
And it's got a ton of different controls and air intake changing things. It's almost it has this thing that reduces the distance the air has to travel on the bike by depending on where you are in the rev range. It's got more calculators than a nuclear submarine
for sure.
And I have a buddy who has one. It sounds great. It goes like stink, but it only gets 100 miles to the tank.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense. Now, one of the big reasons this bike is going away is, I assume, due to emissions, right?
Yeah, so let's see if they have a quote. Yamaha does not give specific reasons for the discontinuation of any of these models, but it's safe to say everyone who'd want a VMAX has purchased one sometime in the last 35 years.
That's fair. They've been making it since 1985, so it seems to me that they've made enough VMAXs to satisfy the entire pool of anyone who would want them.
Yeah, they made them in 2 runs. So in 1985, they made it for a couple of years, and then they're like, this is not a really safe motorcycle. And then in 2007, when the Torcapalooza started happening, and the Busa was reigning king, and then more hyper bikes started to be introduced. They were like, let's bring the VMAX back.
Well, that was before the meltdown too, so they were like, we can sell whatever we want.
Yep,
we can give credit to anyone.
Literally right before the meltdown.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of a shame. Which one are you most disappointed to see go?
I am honestly most disappointed about the WR250, mostly because the R6, we're going to talk about it, but it's changing a little bit. Mm-hmm. But the WR is, I think, one of the gems of motorcycling, one of the best motorcycles probably ever made. If you guys don't know, the WR250 is Yamaha's dual sport, tried and true, and it has one of the highest specifications of dual sports of any of them out there. Mm-hmm. It's got this serious front-end suspension, huge ground clearance. This is a bike that, we like to say that, adventure bikes tackle the world. You could tackle the world with the WR250.
Oh, absolutely.
This thing can seriously go down some gnarly stuff. And it's just a fantastic bike. 22,000 mile valve intervals, right?
Which is awesome.
It's awesome. You could buy this bike brand new and never even change the valves or adjust the valves because of how wide the intervals are. Mm-hmm. So the WR, I'm really sad that it's leaving, mostly because I was thinking about maybe buying one in the next couple of years because I really like them. But now if I want to get one, I'm probably going to have to snap it up.
What do you think about the potential of them making the WR300? Do you think that'd happen?
I don't know. I mean, we're seeing that with the KLX 300. Honda's been updating their dual sports as well. It's possible, but it seems unlikely.
I kind of don't see it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like they saw how much hype they had for the Tenere 700, and I think that's going to be their kind of off-road thing.
You know what I think they'll do? I think they'll make a Tenere 300.
Yeah.
With the R3's engine to compete with the Duke 390 Adventure. They'll make a baby Tenere. Why not, right? Which is a bastardization of what a WR250R is, but that's fine. That's just the way the world is going.
Yeah.
I'd take a dual sport over one of these baby adventure bikes any day of the week.
Absolutely.
Any day of the week. They're just so much more fun to ride. And the R6 is changing, right?
Yes.
They say discontinued, but it's just changing.
Yeah, so they're basically turning it into a track-only motorcycle. So you
love to see it.
Which makes sense, man. It really makes sense.
How long have I been saying that 600s make no sense for the street?
Forever.
Yeah, because they make all the power up at the top. They're all race replica, race ready. Just sell it as a ready-to-race bike.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Like, you have to whine the piss out of a 600 to really get the power out of it. Mm-hmm. You got to work for it.
Yeah.
And that's just no fun on the street. It just isn't. And I don't know. If you in a world where leader bikes exist as a street toy, which is just as stupid in my opinion, there is no point for a 12,600. I think the R6 was.
Yeah, 11,600, 12. Yeah, I know it's like 12 grand, something like that. It was a lot of money for what it was, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think it's great that now they're just like, hey, you come to the dealership, we will. Because this has always been the problem with race bikes, where it's like, if you wanted to buy one brand new, you'd have to buy the R6 with all of the dumb lights and indicators and mirrors and all this other bullshit that you don't need for the track. Take it home, take all that shit off, do all this prep work to get it up to standards. Mm-hmm. Versus now, if what I'm reading is correctly and all that I've heard about is correct, they'll just sell it to you ready to go.
The question is, do you think it's going to be track ready or race ready? Because they're saying race ready.
Hopefully race ready, because there's a big difference. I'm sure, as I've talked to your ear off about.
Yep.
You got to safety wire stuff. You got to get the race body work right. You got to make sure the belly pan meets requirements for whatever racing body you're going to go racing with. Mm-hmm. Lots of stuff. So hopefully they will sell you all that stuff. I have a feeling that Yamaha's racing pedigree will come in handy here, and they can just do a power parts catalog and get you everything you need.
Absolutely. And I feel like this is something that you can't go buy. You right now you can't run out and buy yourself a race prepped motorcycle that has any kind of real pedigree behind it.
No. Yeah.
You have to buy a street bike and then transform it into a race bike, which it costs a ton of money from what you've told me.
It does. It costs a lot of money and time, which is why a lot of track veterans and racers always say just buy a bike that's already prepped. It doesn't. It's okay if it's a little wretched. Buy one that's already prepped, because you will save yourself such a big time and headache trying to prep this thing to get up to spec. But I really think the next move for Yamaha, and we were talking about this earlier, make the MT-07R.
Yes.
Make an RS660 competitor.
Absolutely.
Watch. Remember we said about the CMX 1100?
Mm-hmm.
Watch 3 or 4 months from now, we'll get some little teaser. It's like, oh, Yamaha's making an MT-07R. It's like, we called it,
Yep.
So putting this out right now. If Yamaha makes an MT-07R, I want a royalty check. I want Yamaha to come after me and tell me that I deserve some money for coming up with the idea. Because I'm the first person to ever think of that.
Should we send a letter to Honda?
Yes, to Honda, to Yamaha, to all of them, just to let them all know. Let them all know that we're coming up with great ideas here on the Yamcast.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so sick. An MT-07R?
That would be unbelievable.
That'd be rad.
Because that engine is so good. It's so much fun.
Really good engine, yeah.
And they squeeze a couple extra ponies out of it. I'm sure they could do it pretty easily.
Yeah.
And then you got a really good bike, a usable bike.
And the crazy part is, all you have to do if you're Yamaha, it's like, well, just take the R6 front end, tweak the frame a little bit, put race plastics on it, grab a couple bits and goodies and electronics from some of the other bikes up the ladder, and you're done.
Yep.
That's it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, It doesn't have to be a brand new bike like Aprilia's RS660. Just gotta, hodgepodge it a little bit.
Yeah,
It's the big 4-way.
It's what they do.
That's what they do. Yeah.
But I mean, it'd be pretty easy to just kind of hacksaw that in. Like, I remember in an old video at one point, this deep cut a little bit, you test rode a really like crazy modified R3.
Yeah.
Where the guy was going to put an MT-07 engine
Yeah,
into
he
it.
was going to do that. Yeah, I remember that. That is a deep cut. Yeah, I don't think he ever did that, but...
That feels like what the RS660 competitor would be.
Yes.
Basically just like an R3 with an MT-07 engine crammed into it.
It's not bad. Hey, it might work. Screw it. Sell it to me.
Absolutely. So I feel like that's some big news out of Yamaha.
Definitely.
Big changes. And I feel like we're going to see this more and more as, the next couple of years go by. We're going to see some really kind of tectonic shifts in the sort of motorcycles you see on a dealership floor.
I've been saying for at least 2 years now that 600s are dying and they're not going to be around after a while. And this is the first step, It's the first step. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, gives them an out. It's
Yeah.
like Yamaha's not doing it anymore, and they're the biggest, one of the biggest names in racing. So...
But let's move on to happier news of new models instead of discontinuing. What's next up on the block?
This one's kind of middling happy news. It's speculatory. So Honda CRF 300L and Rally exist now, but the question is, will they come to the United States? So the idea is sound. Make a bigger dual sport, because right now the DRZ 400 is kind of the one dual sport to rule them all in terms of displacement.
Yeah.
It's not exactly the fastest or the most powerful, but, it's the big boy, and you can ride it on the street very comfortably.
Yeah.
And 250s are a little tough.
Yeah.
You really
got to bring them a little bit. Yeah, you really do.
And, an extra 50 cubes, it doesn't sound like much, but when you're talking that low displacement, it makes sense. And what they're doing is they've taken the 300R engine, that little 286cc thumper, and slapped it in here, which, great. Honda has taken another kind of okay engine and put it in another bike.
You're not a big fan of the 300 engine, right?
No, I think it's a little archaic.
Right.
A little simple.
Yeah.
Which, for a dual sport, okay, fine, but for a sport bike,
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been at the bottom of any Comparo. It's always been bottom of the class, so I'm not super excited about the idea of this one.
Yeah, I mean, it used to beat up on the Ninja 250, but that was like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
They're saying here that it's going to make 27 horsepower at 8,500 RPM, which means you kind of got to ring it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And 19.6 foot-pounds of torque at 6,500 RPM.
Which isn't terrible, I mean, these bikes are not meant for blistering performance and this and that. The most important thing I want to know about these bikes is like, what is the weight? What is the ground clearance? What kind of front end suspension are we working with?
So
what's going on?
For the weight here, they claim a loss of 4.7 pounds.
It's almost immaterial in my opinion. That's like 1%. It doesn't matter.
That is not much, because these CRFs were heavy compared to the competition.
Yeah, they were always, and underpowered.
Yeah. And I mean, this seems like they're coming in heavier, or slightly less heavy, and still a little underpowered.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that we don't have any specs on the KLX 300, but I have a feeling that's going to be kind of your entry-level dual sport king for a little while.
Yeah.
Just because it's so dirt cheap.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have a price on these listed. I doubt they do, but let's see.
Honda's always going to be a little bit more, but the CRF 250L was, kind of seen as the cheaper dual sport option,
No prices on these bikes. So what does the CRF 250L cost right now?
I believe it's like $5,200 or something like that.
So it is $51.99.
Oh, I got it right on the money.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That was a lucky guess, honestly. But yeah, it's a cheap bike.
That is a really cheap bike.
But you're not getting much for it, and that's the thing,
No, it's enough, I would say.
Yeah.
And, I feel like this is one of the crazy thing about Austin, and I've looked at it a couple of times because I've really thought about getting rid of the DRZ lately. People don't get rid of dual sports around here. They keep them forever.
Yeah.
The only ones I see are CRFs.
Yep.
People get rid of the CRFs. And that sucks to see.
Yeah.
Because it means that you're getting kind of just the...
yeah.
And
it's the lowest specification dual sport. It's the least powerful. It's the most heavy. it can do most things that dual sports can do. It's just not going to be as easy or flattering as something like a DRZ or a WR.
Yeah.
It's always been the kind of like the sort of, less capable little brother in the class.
Yeah. And, sure, it has a point if it's cheap enough, but damn, for $400 more, you go get yourself that KLX 300, which weighs almost 30 pounds less than the Rally.
In spite, for a mere $5,000 more, you get yourself a KTM 350 EXCF.
Again, that is just too stupid. KTM, you gotta you're off your rocker, man.
They sell out of them all the time. They know what they're doing.
They're just really good, but
yeah.
You gotta be a real big Euro simp to go.
Because the thing with the KTM dual sports, and I think they only make the 350X. That's like the only dual sport KTM you can get nowadays. Maybe the 252, but I don't even think they do anymore. But the reason why they're so awesome is because they start with like a ridiculous competition dirt bike and make it sort of on road. They're super off road biased. Where the CRF and the KLX, they are first and foremost like very kind of easygoing dual sport bikes. They're not meant to be competition machines.
Look at the tires they come with.
Yeah, they don't come with super aggressive knobbies.
Those look pretty mellow.
Yeah, but the cool thing is, they're a 21-inch setup. They are a proper dual sport. Like they're good bikes. Actually, my very first bike I ever rode was an MSF CRF 250L. I loved it. I thought it was super. I almost bought one. I thought it was super cool. I feel like my whole life would have been different if I bought a CRF 250L.
Yeah, that was a Node right there.
Yeah, it was the Node. But the question is, and this article is asking it, is will it come to the U.S.?
It makes sense. It really makes sense.
I think it does.
Don't understand why they wouldn't.
I think they're still worried about the sort of displacement thing in the U.S. where it's like, oh, they like big bikes and, they barely buy Ninja 400s and, this and that. But I think we're really clamoring for dual sports nowadays. And I think this market's being slept on, honestly. But I don't have the sales figures in mind, so I don't know.
I just feel like all of the people in the audience right now who are like, oh, I want my sport bike, I want to go fast, you're kind of missing out.
You're missing out so much. If you have never considered a dual sport and you've never thought about it, they are awesome. Just because they're just these lovable, dependable little mules you can do whatever with.
Beat the shit out of them.
It is so much fun. It is so much fun. Yeah. What is our last piece of news today, though?
Oh, our last piece of news. I know you're going to be excited about this one.
Oh, mamma mia.
New monster.
We're just talking about sport bikes, and here we go, baby.
This one is very interesting to me. I watched the whole 16-minute video on it, and they really pushed the new weight. Like they were like, we dropped the weight a lot.
Yeah. And they did.
Yeah.
This new monster is, if I remember correctly, like 30 pounds lighter than the outgoing one. They're claiming a 366-pound dry weight, which is probably a little under 400 pounds wet and ready to ride.
Yeah.
That's good.
For a bike that makes 111 horsepower.
Yeah, for a bike that has the 939 from the Hyper Motard, spicy.
Very good.
That's good.
And it makes 69, pounds of torque. That's a big number for torque.
Yeah.
I think that's more than the MT-09.
It is a bigger engine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the price is not bad. It says from, $12,000.
Which means you get yourself the base. They're doing 2 levels of the new monster. Right?
iPhone pricing, right?
Yeah. So you got your Monster and your Monster Plus.
Yeah.
Which is not that much more.
It's a couple $100 more.
Yeah, and it's got the same setup. You're just getting some fancier parts.
Yeah. The coolest thing about this is it's getting the same trickle down from the V4 that's been happening with Ducati's models year after year.
Yep.
So this new monster has basically the entire suite of electronics that the Panigale V4 has had for years now. Has an up-down quick shifter as standard.
Yep.
It has that 939cc. But the big talking point that everyone's upset about is the trellis frame is gone. It's gone. It doesn't have the signature monster frame anymore because for years the monster was all about that big red, ladder trellis looking frame. And now one could make the case that if you squint your eyes, you're like, is it an MT? Is it a BMW F900R? Is it a KTM? Like naked bikes are kind of all looking the same. What do you think?
I think that the monster is still very unique down to its tank. The big thing, because I remember doing all the research when we did
big stumpy tank, right?
Yeah, when we did the So You Want, or we did our Monster versus SV650, whatever it was. We did a lot of research about it.
Yeah.
And one of the big things that they pushed for was the tank, the style of the tank, down to the fact that the first monsters back in '93, the handlebars would whack into the tank.
Yeah, so they just dented it, right?
So they made these little cuts in the tank so that the clip-ons or the clamshells wouldn't smack into the tank.
Yeah.
Which is a super Ducati move.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're keeping this look here, which is very classic Monster.
Yeah.
And this right here just screams Ducati.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. I don't necessarily... I mean, they're saying that the frame weighs something like...
4 kilos, right?
3 or 4 kilos? Yeah. Which is really light.
Yeah. Which makes sense because you look at that frame and all it is just a little top end right there, and it's just holding the engine as a little cradle, and that's it. It's just dangling the engine by the bottom of it there.
Yep.
And that's the thing I want to stress to people. Yes, it's lost the signature trellis frame and it looks a little bit different, but this is a better motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
It's more advanced. It's progress. And that's just the way it goes sometimes, you know? I remember... Not that I remember, but I heard legends of this when Ducati started like liquid cooling their bikes. People were like, what is this? You can't do this, blah, blah, blah. But what were they going to do? End up like Harley and just keep making the same bullshit over and over again? No, they had to evolve and make better stuff. This is going to be a better bike.
Oh,
hands
absolutely.
down. I'm very interested in this as a new intermediate bike giveaway for next year. This looks really sick.
I mean, look at the power curve on that. That is just a super linear horsepower curve.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That 939 is rad. Mm-hmm. You've never experienced it before, right?
No, I haven't.
It's very good.
I'm excited to
imagine the Panigale V2, but just less crazy top end. It's the same feeling. It's the same feeling, but in a nice naked bike.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
The one thing that I found very interesting watching the whole video was they stressed super hard the seat height. They were like, the seat height is really low, and you can get a lowered seat, and you can get lowering kits
accessibility for riders, right? They want to get more asses in more monster seats, right?
But my main problem with by lowering the seat so much is you sit inside the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I don't really love that feeling.
That is not a very aggressive rider triangle. If you look at the handlebar, seat, and pegs, that's a very amenable package, right?
Yeah.
That's not a street triple. A street triple is like basically a sport bike, you know?
Yeah.
It's not really a naked bike.
It's a sport bike with handlebars.
Yeah. This is a naked bike for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I think they're doing some really cool stylistic stuff here. Like the turn signals are integrated into this thing right here, and they do the Audi thing where they stripe out. A nice
touch. And they're self-canceling now, right?
Yeah, which Harley's been doing that for years.
It's true.
They've been doing that for years.
Yeah, it's true. I think our 883
Oh yeah, it's got self-canceling turn signals.
Yeah. Kind of funny.
You know, whatever.
I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me.
But standard equipment, dual, the up-down quick shifter, launch control, TFT, full LED headlight with the crazy DRL setup.
The ring is badass.
The ring looks awesome. And I think it has the turning, like the lean sensitive light on it. USB power socket. This is a fully fledged good motorcycle that you could have for years and years and years.
Big thing too is even though it is Desmo, because it is that old 939, the valve clearance is at 18,000 miles from what I'm seeing on there. So that's pretty damn good, honestly. Yeah. That's not bad. Desmo service does cost an arm and a leg, but you don't have to worry about that if you buy this bike brand new for at least 2 years, even with a lot of riding.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about it. Someone in the chat just said that it is a more athletic SV650. It's an SV650 on coke, the way it looks. And I do agree, you know, it does kind of look that way.
Speaking of looks, though, the thing they're doing with the paint and the wraps is really cool. So the whole idea is you could just get your little like sticker kits, or you could get new plastics to put on it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And it really has a pretty striking look when you put that kind of sticker pack and that kind of stuff on it, which is cool because it doesn't really have a lot of plastic or, you know, surface area to work with. But, you know, in the video that we saw, it showed a lot of, you know, really interesting graphics that you can put on it. It's a really, really sweet bike. I can't imagine they're not going to sell a bunch of these because, again, like Ducati, they got the price right, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's not that expensive in this category.
Even for the Plus version too. And you know, they've got really solid Brembo setup. They've got hydraulic clutch, which they advertised how light the clutch feel is.
Yeah.
I mean,
radial mounted brakes, bigger master cylinder.
This thing's a, you know, here we go again. It's a real bike.
It's a real bike, baby.
This thing's awesome. It's a great platform.
The comparo that needs to happen now, because we have now a new breed of bike. It's the 900 naked bike. 900cc naked bikes is now a thing, right? So next year, the middleweight, right? Look at this middleweight bike, Spite. Isn't that great? So we need to do MT09 versus KTM 890 versus Z900 versus New Monster. That's the crop right now, right?
The Z900 would walk all over all of them in a straight line.
I don't know if it will. This is really light. The Z900 is heavy. It
makes like 140 horsepower though, doesn't it?
Makes like 120 tops. It's a really detuned engine. Yeah, it's not a huge screamer.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty mellow. So I don't think it'd walk all over this thing.
Maybe I'm thinking of the RS, because the RS is like a little bit more hopped up, I think.
Maybe a little bit. I don't think they make close to 140 though. There's something out in front of the shop that's trying to start and can't really get there.
It's a little distracting. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's not coming through on the mic. On the chat, it says Z900 125 horsepower. Yeah,
that's still pretty good. It's this being so light, that really helps it.
It's the torque.
But I think it's so cool that this thing has like really fancy tech on it. I don't think tech is super important.
It's got the stuff that matters. It has an up-down quick shifter. It has rider mode. Like the stuff that actually makes a difference, it has, And the stuff that it doesn't need, it doesn't have.
And it's literally got the same TFT off the Panigale.
Yeah. I'm not in the market for a middleweight bike, but this might be my favorite. It's really sick. It's really, really nice.
And they have some really cool colorways for it in the like aftermarket plastic stuff.
Yeah.
Really cool colorways.
Anything you don't like about it?
Again, my main thing is that seat height. I don't like the way you sit inside the bike.
Yeah.
I feel like they're sort of compromising it just a little bit by being like, hey, the seat height's super approachable, super easy to get into. I don't know. I don't need a TFT. Again, I still like my needle.
Yeah.
But this is for 11 grand. I spent 11 grand and I got a
12-ish, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 12-ish. I got a calculator for a dashboard.
Yeah.
I really wish I had like a little.
I did too with my sled, right? Like it's not the most
but at
advanced
least you have
thing.
like an RPM counter and stuff.
Yeah, I have modes too. Yeah.
Well, I got modes too,
Yeah,
but I literally just have, it tells me speed and miles, and that's it. And if I tab through it, it tells me hours up. Like the on time. But I could have done with like a little baby TFT with like a little gear position.
That'd
and
be cool.
An RPM on the thing.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
But that's a little bit of a disappointment, especially when I see this at 11 grand.
Yeah. The Monster looks really, really cool. We have got to do that comparo at some point next year if we are able to, because I'm sure people are dying to see it. But that's going to wrap up the news section of the podcast. Now let's move on to the call-in portion of this podcast. Alrighty, everybody, we're moving on to the call-in portion of our podcast. If you want the chance to call in and chat with us and hang out with us on stream live here for the Yamcast, feel free to join our Discord server down below. Yammie.co is the best way to do that. Spite, load up that number.
Alrighty. Number is live.
Hey there, Michael. You're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you doing?
Good. What can we do for you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was as fine as COVID would allow it to be, I suppose. Any bike-related questions, perhaps? Do you own a motorcycle right now or no?
No.
Okay. Are you thinking of getting one?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. What are you thinking of getting? Maybe if you were to get one.
Well, I don't have a huge budget right now. Currently enrolled in school, so I'd probably just want to go get some cheap used bike, maybe just an R3 to have for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Until I finish school.
That's fair. I think it's got to depend on the right project you get or this and that. A used R3, it's pretty bulletproof. I haven't seen too many issues with those.
No, they're basically unkillable.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I think that would be good just to, learn for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Something, or however long, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like a year and a half would be more than enough on a little 300. I think you'd learn everything you need to, and then want to probably bump up to something else.
Mm-hmm.
The temptation to get more power is definitely real.
It happens very quickly too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Well, that's interesting. So you don't have a bike. You're sort of maybe thinking about getting one, but you are here on the Yamcast, so you must be a pretty diehard Yammie Noob supporter, I guess. So, and anything else you want to tell us or ask us?
I guess I don't have any more questions. I just maybe, I really enjoy your content, and I appreciate everything that you've been doing. I know you guys have been working really hard to put out all these new videos and make everything exciting, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely been a bit of a slog the past couple of weeks, but today felt really mellow, though.
Yeah, it's nice that we're kind of back on a normal-ish production schedule where we have everything just rolling away. That Sportster really threw a wrench into things.
Yeah, Sportster really nuked what we had going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was kind of fun in a way, though,
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll catch you on the Discord. See you later.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Possibly our most unprepared caller, but that's okay. He just wanted to be here, He reminds me of the guy that's just like sort of at a house party but not saying much, just kind of stumbles in, You're like, hey, who's this guy?
I just want to hang out.
Jimmy, how's it going? You're on the Yamcast.
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. What can we do for you?
Oh, I just called in. You said, what's the topic? You got a topic or something?
It's all about motorcycles tonight. So do you ride a bike?
Oh yeah, I ride bike. You guys always talk that. Fucking Yammie says, "Oh, you can't daily 1,000 cc." I daily 1,000 cc all the time.
He's a YouTube comment come to life. Look at this.
Let me guess. It's a Gixxer 1000 K5.
No, I ride a S1000.
Ah,
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
What year?
What year? 2019, Gen 3.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good bike. Yeah.
Yeah, I had picked it up last July. Now I'm almost at 40K.
wow.
Holy crap! Miles or kilometers?
I live in Southern California, so yeah, I ride all year long.
Yeah, he's literally on the bike right now as he talks. He's trying to rack up more miles.
That is a lot of miles in 2 years on a super sport.
That is a ton of miles. I thought I did a lot on my Daytona when I had it. I put on like 22,000 miles on my 675R. But you're crushing it, yeah. So I assume there in California, you got a lot of beautiful canyons and twisties, yeah?
Yeah, and then when I moved to California, I had an R6 in 04, and I put 112,000 miles on it in like 4 years.
Whoa,
brother, that is a lot. You are dedicated to that super sport life.
140,000 miles on that R6.
Man,
wow, that is.
There you go. Yeah. That's why they don't need to sell any more R6s. They just keep going forever. Apparently.
Yep, apparently.
Holy moly! Did you sell it or do you still have the R6?
Yeah, it was 04. It was nice until it got stolen in California. This summer, I was in Colorado. I came back. My bad, I forgot to lock it up. But I came back and my R6 was gone. I was like, bummer.
Yeah.
I was like, jokes on them when they turn the ignition on and they see the mileage 140,000 miles.
They're like, oh, it's spent.
Man.
All right, guys. Well, it was nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much for your call, man. I appreciate it.
All right, I might see you in Austin. I'm thinking about moving out there for work. So.
Sweet. Yeah, give us a ring.
All right. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good one.
All right, later.
All right, bye.
140,000 miles on an R6.
That is unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. How many tires do you think he went through?
A lot.
Hundreds. Like, holy shit.
Unless you're just poodling around.
Or he had one Pilot Road 4 that just survived tens of thousands of miles. Oh, man. Hey, Piranha, how's it going? You're on the Yamcast.
Not too bad.
What can we do for you tonight?
So I wanted to get some thoughts on some of the older UJM bikes. I am a diehard Suzuki boy, and obviously want to have a GS 750 in my stable at some point.
Nice.
But I was trying to see what your guys' pick would be.
Ooh, there's so many to pick from, honestly. I gotta think for a second. Oh, no, I don't have to think. It's not technically a UGM, because if you want to say only 4 sills are UGM, but I'd get a CBX. The 6-sill Honda, man, that's a great choice. Just for the sound alone. Spot, what would you pick for UJM?
That's tough. I was thinking something like one of the parallel twins, one of the little parallel twins.
Yeah. Simple, easy, yeah.
A little bit lighter.
Yeah.
And there's one less carb you got to sink.
Wasn't there, I don't know if it technically falls into UJM, but the baby VTEC that they made in Australia, the CB400?
CB400 Super 4.
Yeah.
It looks like a UJM.
Yeah, sort of. That could count. That's a cool one.
Yeah, I really like the idea of the Super 4.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a baby 919.
Yeah.
And I personally kind of feel like the 919 is the last UJM that
honestly,
Honda made.
yeah, it kind of is, right? It fits the bill.
I mean, it was followed on. CB900C, I believe, would be the one that I'd get. That's the one that has the high-low gears, the stupid transfer case, and the shaft drive.
Yeah, it's truly.
I would get that one.
Truly a stupid bike. Good choice.
You want the one where you have to change like 6 different types of oil?
Oh, absolutely.
The transmission is ran back and forth from either side of the bike and stuff. Yeah,
he owns a DRZ. Of course, he wants to do that.
But that, like, I watched the regular car reviews on that one, and it just seems silly.
Yeah, it's like CB900C for when you're a glutton for pain.
Yep.
You know, my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. What's funny is that you don't want to deal with cars, but at the same time, you want to deal with anything involving that bike.
Yeah.
I'll just give it to somebody to work on. I won't work on it. I'll just call up somebody and be like, "Hey, I got a project for you."
Your bike will have a nanny. It'll have like a live-in nanny that takes care of it. You know, it's like an old elderly gentleman that you're just kind of shepherding along.
And then I'll get the bill and I'll be like, I should have just gotten a Ducati.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever own one of these. I mean, maybe I will. I'm not going to say never, but I would. A CBX would be cool in the stable. That's for sure.
They're really peculiar though. Like
Yeah,
they're
I know.
hard. They're really hard to find in good running order.
Yeah.
And they're a weird bike because they're so wide.
Yeah.
You know, they're really wide and they're a lot of work.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. I just don't have time to pour into anything right now. I like bikes that just work. I mean, just the other day I had to put a new exhaust on the race bike, and I was like, I can't believe I do this shit. And I was like, imagine like a thoroughbred project bike. It'd be like every week. But the allure is always there.
Absolutely.
What do you ride right now, Piranha?
I am still currently bikeless.
Damn.
I've been looking around for a minute. I was the guy originally who had a GSX S 750 and have been looking around for an even older 750 because I'm a glutton for pain and punishment.
There's always the CB 750.
Yeah.
That bike is a complete known quantity.
They know everything about it. Yeah.
Well, the only thing... So the reason why I would prefer the GS 750 other than being an absolute dick sucker for Suzuki is with the CB 750 versus like the Kawasaki's, the GS's handle so much better, just from personal experience. And like the power is about the same, the looks are all obviously the same, but goddamn, can a GS get down? Like touching knees in the corner, easy. So
Nice. I don't know. They handle that well.
Yeah, that seems like brave to be doing that on a bike from the 70s. So
Yeah. I don't think I've ever ridden a bike that old, honestly.
the oldest one that I've ridden was, I guess if we don't count the DRZ, probably my 919, 2007.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if you do end up getting this mythical GS Piranha, let us know. Put a comment or a photo on Discord, and I will definitely check it out.
Definitely.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Yep, talk to you soon.
See ya. Yeah, maybe 2021 is the year where we try to grab like some 1972 CB750 and just ride it and just see, you know. I've never ridden a bike that old.
Yeah. What's the oldest bike you've ever ridden?
The 1994 Honda RVF 400 in Australia.
Ah.
That was cool as fuck. That was a cool fucking bike.
Like that's a like proper old school sport bike.
Yeah. It had the little snorkels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it a 2-stroke?
No, it was four-stroke, yeah. Hey, Christian, you're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Hey, first-time caller here.
Beautiful.
I was the one that commented earlier about the best off-road dual sport.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know it seems a bit weird, the question, but I would only want, like, I live about 5 miles away from the trails.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, and I don't have a truck. I know the best bet would be an actual off-road, dirt bike, but I don't have a truck, and I only live about 5 miles from the trail, so it'd be a bit of a hassle, loading it and then unloading it.
Oh yeah, no, you are the ripe candidate for a dual sport. That you have to get one for sure. So now it makes sense why you're asking that question. And to be honest, a lot of guys go overkill on the trail bikes. You don't need a KTM, EXCF to go hit up some trails. You do that on a WR or a CRF. Are you trying to buy new or used?
A new one.
Man.
Because I've off-road for quite for about 6-7 years.
Oh, wow.
And I know what us off-roaders do to our bikes. We beat them, so.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I would say WR250. I mean, it sounds like you have way more off-road experience than I do about this stuff, but I would say WR250. It sounds like the best bet. If you want something really capable. Spike, what do you think?
Probably, yeah. I mean, if you can snag them before they're gone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, again, I'm thinking myself a KLX 300.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see Spike really loves that KLX, huh?
He's just simping for Kawasaki before our meme contest tonight.
Yeah, I was looking into that WR, but I saw it was being discontinued, and I really like the CRF 450L.
Yeah, that's a really good one too, honestly.
It's really pricey, so.
Yeah, that 450L I think is like 11.5, something like that.
Lot.
That's a lot for a dual sport. Yeah.
That is a lot.
Secondhand DRZ, maybe if you can put up with the carbs. That's a pretty good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to buy mine?
I'm quite a ways from you. I'm all the way here in California.
We'll figure it out. I'll drop it out of a plane.
You'll ship it part by part.
Yeah, it's already at parts. Yeah. It does run. It's cantankerous.
I have seen it run.
But yeah, my lovable DRZ can be yours for the low price of whatever the hell I decide to sell it for.
Yep. Well, whatever you end up getting as your dual sport, let us know in the Discord. It'd be cool to see a brand spanking new bike on the Dirt Boys channel. That'd be awesome.
Okay, will do.
All right, man. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
Bye. Hey there, Ray. You were on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Hey, Yam, Spite. Great to be here. First-time caller.
Awesome. What can we do for you?
Yeah, so I've been wanting to ask you this question for a long time, and it's a little delicate, but I got to know which bike is better, the 690 or the Desert Sled?
Oh, shit.
We have to know the answer to this question.
In the words of economists everywhere, it depends.
Yep.
It really depends. If I may simp for the 690, it's a great street bike. Like I rode it around a couple times. It's a ton of fun to ride. Mm-hmm. For me personally, I just like my bikes to be a little bit off-road capable, and I would hate to chuck the SMCR down a dirt trail.
Yeah, it's a little too fancy, and I honestly love the way that your bike feels just riding it around.
Yeah,
the V-twin is so nice, it's so juicy. It's just a little heavy.
Yeah.
I'm finding that I adore really light bikes, which is ironic given that I'm not a very light person.
And if it makes you feel better, Ray, we drag raced our two bikes and they were dead even. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they're weirdly comparable in a lot of ways. Yeah. They have a very similar front end suspension setup. You have that WP, which is really nice, but I think they're the same size forks too. Mm-hmm. 46 mil, right?
I think mine's 46, yeah.
Yeah. So they're really similar in a lot of ways.
You have more off-road bias. I have literally none. Nothing about my bike is designed to go off-road. It's more designed for going to a go-kart track.
Yeah.
Than anything else. So, you know, if you're thinking at all about going to sumo track or doing silly shit, you know, the SMCR might be the way to go.
Yeah.
But if you're at all thinking about taking it off-road, you definitely need to take the Desert Sled.
Yeah.
So that seems a little bit strange to me because the sled's so heavy. Would you think it would be different if you put different wheels and tires on your 690?
I still wouldn't take the 690 off-road just because of the technology. If I was going to make a real comparison, I would get the 690 Enduro.
Yeah.
Because that's a single 70, it's the same engine, so like 72, 74 horsepower, 50-ish foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah.
360 pounds, but a 2119 setup.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
not as manic, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you're talking like a real comparison there.
Yeah, which I would personally take a 690 Enduro over my bike for trail riding and stuff, but I'd have to spend time with it and see if I'd want to do it long term. But I love the sled, man. It's a good bike. It's a really sweet ride.
So on that 690, if you were to ride it for like 6-8 hours, is it gonna? I mean, is it comfortable for that long, or are you really looking at around town?
Ride on that bike.
You would probably want to shoot yourself.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's the bike is really good for me right now at about 100 miles. I'm good after about 100 miles. There are some things I could do to it, like get Seat Concepts makes a seat that's really wide in the back and really narrow in the front, so you can move around on it, and it'll be a lot more comfortable because my seat is still dual sport shaped, which means it's really curved, and there's a kind of definite peak to it, which gets you right in the taint, and it doesn't have any concession for speed, so you're literally just a sail on it. I ride it on the highway because I don't take very long trips usually.
Yeah.
But again, I'm good for about 100 miles.
You know, come to think of it, a really interesting thing to think about is our bikes arrived in the same place, roughly, by way of two completely different paths. Your bike started as a dirt bike that was converted to a street bike. My bike started as a street bike that was jacked up to be a dirt bike. So they're kind of both these weird hodgepodge bikes, you know, for different reasons, right?
Mine came from a freaking game show.
Yeah.
You know? The whole idea of supermotos being from super bikers back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can do a video one day where we just like swap we just bring out the personal bikes for video. Be like, this is what we ride and why we ride it, and then we just swap and be like, do we like each other's bikes almost? You know,
that could be fun.
Yeah, that could be cool. Well, hopefully that answers the question. I don't know which one's better or not, but yeah.
So I really love the DRZ, like my favorite bike I've ever ridden.
Yeah.
And the only problem with it is that if I ride it for, 4 hours or so, the vibrations get to me. They really
Yeah.
You start to see double and stuff. And so I'm just curious if there's, I'm looking for another option that can do a little off-roading, mostly on-road, kind of has that fun sumo feel to it, but, doesn't have the vibrations that you get with that 1990s single cylinder or whatever.
Well, the SMCR has two balancer shafts, but it still vibrates. It's still, especially now that I put the heated grips on there, the original grips on the KTM do a good job of eating out vibration, but it still shakes a lot. And I don't feel like yours shakes nearly, I mean, it shakes in a good way.
Yeah, mine just gives you the good vibrations. Yeah, not bad at all. Mine has no vibrations at all. It's pretty butter smooth. Yeah, that's tough. Maybe the sled would fit his bill. I don't know, but also maybe a wild card would be like a Tenere 700. If you want to tackle a little bit off road and you're doing these big rides, maybe a middleweight adventure bike is your ticket. I don't know.
It's great advice. I can't wait to see your video on the T7 when you get a hold of one.
There's a guy here in Austin who's emailed me who has one who wants me to make a video with his. He's on vacation. When he comes back, I'm going to set up a time and go ride it because I'm dying to ride a T7. Dying. And that video will get 5 views.
The only one our dealerships have had, they gave to a rep, so we haven't even had a chance to get one down here yet.
Jeez.
That sucks.
That does suck. Yeah. Well, man, hopefully that answered your question. Hope your quest for that perfect, on/off-road bike continues. And if you find it, let me know because I'm also looking for one.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Yeah. See you later. Alrighty, guys, that's going to finish up the call-in portion of our podcast. We're now going to move on to the meme contest, and this is an audio-visual presentation, so if you want to see the full Bananas podcast, Yamcast situation, you got to get yourself over to YouTube and check that out. Without further ado, let's see the memes for this week. Alrighty, guys, we're now doing the meme contest. For this week, it is Yamaha versus Kawasaki. Now, we're trying to determine the best of the big four. This is the finals round. We've already determined that Suzuki and Honda have hit the chopping block, and they are no longer in contention.
Honda did not put up much of a fight at all. They got whooped up on. Suzuki put up a big fight.
Yeah, Suzuki almost got it, but Yamaha did come back swinging.
And so today we have 12 entries, and I double-checked it because last time we had a little bit of a goof.
Yes.
But Yamaha has 7 entries out of 12, so they have a little bit of an advantage going into it. Mm-hmm. And Kawasaki, they have 2 out of 3 of the videos on Kawasaki's team.
They could be
and
powerful.
The videos are heavy hitters usually.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to see how it goes. And we dive in with our first meme from Alex, which is very simplistic.
Is this it?
This is it.
Wow. It's just R1 happy, ZX10 sad.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, that communicates a message, right? At the bare minimum, it's saying something.
Yep.
Let's give it a rating.
Yep. So I think for effectiveness, that's like a 1.
That might be just a 1. Yeah, I was gonna rate it 0, but it is at least making the case. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it has a case being made, so I feel like it's like even like a half.
Let's give it like a half. That's a that's a weak entry.
Yep. Quality.
Man, I don't want to do it to him, but this is like a 2. This is, I mean, the bare minimum effort was put here. You know, I don't want to be mean, but man. Okay, that's a 2. And now for funniness, right? That's our next one.
Yep.
I also think like a 2. Like it's not really funny, right? I'm laughing at it. It's like I'm laughing at it, not with it, you know. So Alex scores possibly our lowest score ever, a 4 on that. Not great. Considering
with this week's Tito.
Yeah, he's the Tito Rabat of this race here. Moving on. What's our next one?
Next one comes to us from UKA1 boy, who's poaching German A2 boys shtick a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, a newscaster meme. I haven't seen one of these in a while. Ninja636 decimates R6 for good, forcing R6 out of production. Kawasaki go burr. Yamaha takes the L. Finish him. That's great. It's got the thing at the top, Yamcast with the date at some point. This is good. I like this. Yeah, nice. I haven't seen this meme format in a while.
Mm-hmm. I when I saw this, I was like, this is good. I like this.
This is great. And he put the 636 that German A2 boy loves so much, that sort of mid-2000s generation, which is not the best 636, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's an acceptable one. So, effectiveness.
I would say it's 1 to 3, right?
1 to 3 with, well, now we have a half point, and we have our 5, which is the crit.
Yeah, I think this is a 2.
A 2. Yeah, right down the middle.
Yep.
Quality.
Solid. I'd say a 7.
Agreed.
Yeah, well done.
Funniness? I think 6.
Yeah, 6. I think that's fair.
13. Next one comes to us from West Palm. Again, that's our pet dealer, Erica, I believe.
Excellent. Love the pet. So this is a VR thing. It says, "Whoa, this VR is so realistic," and it just says, "Kawasaki suck," and then they're crying. Nice. Yeah, that's very good.
Mm-hmm. Simple, to the point.
Yeah.
All right. Now, effectiveness for Team Yamaha here.
Since we're doing halves, and it was direct to the point, but it didn't make the case for Yamaha. It just said Kawasaki suck. You know, I think a 1.5.
A 1.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Quality.
I think a 6. What do you think?
I was thinking like a 5, like kind of right down the
5. Let's do a 5. Yeah.
Funniness.
I think that's a 6 at least for funniness. I got a good chuckle out of that.
That's 11. Next comes to us from Little Cowie Guy, which I'm confused.
He said Little Cowie, but he's Team Yamaha, huh?
Yeah, I'm confused here.
He's a closeted Yamaha simp. That's okay. We accept everyone here. That's all right.
And this one is very simple.
Just Rossi.
The end.
The end. Okay.
But see, okay, this is where I start reading into it and using the analytical, left brain, right brain kind of thing, where I'm like, Rossi had a bad season this year.
He did, yeah. He had COVID. He DNF'd like 4 times.
He crashed out on the second turn of Le Mans.
Yeah, it wasn't a good season for Rossi.
So this is why he's little Cowie guy making a ostensibly pro Yamaha meme.
Did he say it was pro Yamaha?
He didn't say. He just sent it to me.
It's too vague almost.
Yeah, so this is where I'm thinking it's Team Yamaha because it's like what we simp for Rossi all the time.
It's like it's Rossi. Come on.
But again, after this season, I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Either way, this is not going to score very high.
Yeah, unfortunately not. So I think this might be another 0.5.
Man,
I think
Team
it's
Yamaha, I mean, they had, it can't be Kawasaki, just as Rossi at the end. It's like, that's the final word. Yamaha has Rossi. Fuck you, but, geez, that's not, I think a 0.5 as well.
Yep.
Because it did the bare minimum.
Quality.
It's nothing. I don't want to be mean, but it's just 3 words on a black screen.
I think that's
a
like
one.
a 1.
That's a 1, yeah.
And a funniness, kind of similar.
Yeah. Funniness, yeah, also just like a 1, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a 2. We got a new Tito.
We're breaking records today, but for all the wrong reasons. Guys, what's going on? The quality of the Yamcast needs to we need to whip these boys into shape. They know that ultimate glory and contest winnings are on the line, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Come on.
They're at least Yamaha is like edging ever closer.
There are gift cards on the table right now, ready to go.
Next up,
but not for you, Locali guy. You
All right.
What's our next one?
Next one comes to us from Whiskey Tango 90. Yeah, they are Team Yamaha.
Wow. So Yamaha looks like a patron saint of some sort, kind of, and Kawasaki is just some poor busted looking man. Damn.
I mean, just looking at that dude's whole toofus situation is quite rough.
Not good. Not good. That makes a very clear point.
Yes.
Yamaha is god tier. Kawasaki is just busted.
Yep.
Busted ass Kawasaki. I think for effectiveness, that's a 2 for Yamaha.
Yep.
Making a clear case there.
Quality?
A 4, maybe.
4.
It's very simple,
Funniness?
6. Pretty
6.
funny.
Yeah. Got a good chuckle out of it. Next one comes to us from Phantom 10792, a common participant, and he is Team Kawasaki. I really like this one.
Says, why can't the Yamaha get any sleep? It couldn't catch any Z's. Ooh.
I really like that one.
That's a good joke. I'll tell all my Cowie boys at the track to use that one. Nice.
So our effectiveness, I
that's like a good one. Yeah, I think, what do you think, a 2.5?
I think a 2.5, yeah.
2.5.
If we're doing the half points now.
Jeez, Cowie is well in the lead, huh?
Yeah,
oh no,
well,
they just tied up. Tied up. That's pretty good.
This is a neck and neck race.
Yeah.
Quality.
Pretty solid. I don't know if they came up with that joke, but it's pretty good. How about a 5?
A 5.
Yeah.
Next, funniness.
7. Pretty
Yes.
funny. Yeah.
I really like that one.
That's a good joke. Yeah.
Not quite. He's in second place now after our pet dealer Erica.
Yeah.
This is a tight race for middle of the pack.
Yeah.
This is what happens when Marquez isn't here.
Mm-hmm. Germany 2 boys are Marquez.
Yep. Next one comes to us from Chicken Chaser. Mr. Chicken Chaser, I'm sorry.
Yeah, get it right. Mr. Chicken Chaser has made a sort of mirror meme about the last one. It says, Yamaha has Lord Rossi. Kawasaki has no GP team. Fair.
Yep. Fair.
Yeah. Kawasaki has gone on public record saying it is too expensive to be in GP, and so they're just focusing everything on WSBK. If anyone at Aprilia is listening, you should do the same shit that Kawasaki did. Get the fuck out of GP. Go to WSBK. Stop losing.
Wait, Tito's Ducati, right?
Tito is.
I think he's.
Fuck, is he LCR? What the fuck team is he?
I think he's Ducati.
Is he Avincia Ducati?
Yep.
I can't remember what the fuck team Tito is on, but yeah.
So he's not that bad.
He's not that bad, but Aprilia has like one. Yeah, they have Aleix. When they get like a top 10, the answers are like, oh, brilliant results for Aprilia. They're in 9th place. Can you believe it? Yeah, fuck off, Aprilia. Just go into WSBK, dude. Come on. We were talking about in the Track Days channel earlier. I was like, they have a platform. They have the RSV4. Like, make it a homologation bike. Take it to WSBK. They would do good. Mm-hmm. What do I know, right?
Yep.
What do I know? Keep losing in GP. Do whatever you want.
Absolutely, where GP careers go to die.
Yeah. What is it? Apparently the rumor was that Joe Roberts, the sort of American on the Moto2 grid, he got the sort of like maybe say, hey, you want to come to Aprilia? And he was like, no thanks. He's like, I'm good. I'll stick in Moto2. That's fine. I'll wait till a good seat shows up in GP.
That's great. So our effectiveness for this meme.
Pretty solid. I think a 2 is in order there.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think the other one was a 2.5 because it was framed up as a funny joke.
Yes.
Let's be clear.
Yes.
So quality for this one, I think a 5 as well. Pretty middle of the road. Pretty good quality.
Funniness?
Pretty fun. A 6.
A 6.
Yeah.
Next one comes to us from Otter Plus. Another Yamaha meme. Yamaha's moving ahead with 6.5 points.
Oh, it's about me. It says, well, we don't call him Cowie Noob. 10 out of 10 across the board. 3 effectiveness, 10 for quality, 10 for funniness. No, I'm just kidding, of course. That's fair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The whole namesake was based on Yamaha, which if people I've had questions about this. Like, where does Yammie Noob come from? I'm like, oh, Yamaha was the first bike. I was a noob. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
That's simple. Effectiveness. Not super effective, I would say, as much as I'd love to say that it was, it really wasn't. 1.5, I think.
Okay. Now, quality.
A 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of a little bit lower.
Funniness.
I think a 5 that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8. Next one comes to us from A. Riley 95.
One of our resident Harley boys.
Mm-hmm.
from Team Kawasaki, it starts at the top. MTO3. This is Yamaha. MTO7. What are you doing? Yamaha, the new MTO9, and then stop at the Tracer 900. That Tracer 900. Oh my God, what is that? That straight up looks like some Decepticon Bionicle.
Yep.
Say what you will about Yamaha, but that is some crazy front headlights they have.
It is better than, I think this one is the worst right here on the MTO9 of all of them.
Yeah.
The Tracer 900 looks a little bit more like the MTO9 we currently have, which I actually like that headlight.
Yeah, it's not bad. I never thought I'd say it, but I think the MTO3 is my favorite out of all the MT bikes now with the headlight,
the
honestly.
Screaming Ninja.
Because I've always hated the MT10 headlight. Love the bike, hate the headlight.
Mm-hmm.
I think the new MTO9 and MT7 look fine. I don't hate them as much as other people do, but I think my favorite of the bunch is the MTO3, which is crazy. I never thought I'd say that. Yeah.
So for effectiveness here.
Pretty good. I think at least a 2 or a 2.5, maybe. What do you think?
I think like a 2.
I think a 2 is fair. Okay.
Quality.
I'd say pretty high quality. Sort of, kind of thought of his own thing. How about a 7?
A 7.
Yeah.
And funniness.
Pretty funny. How about a 7.5?
7.5.
Yeah.
I think that's our new leader at 14.5 right there.
Ooh, A. Riley, new leader.
Now we are into our last 3, which are all videos.
Nice. Yeah. They really do all look like a bunch of clones. Yeah. Say what you will about the MT line. They all at least look a little different from each other,
Yeah.
Man, a Z400, a Z650, if you squint, that's the same bike.
Yep.
Straight up
Absolutely.
same bike. No difference.
And they're not sized all that differently either.
No, they're not. That's the weird part. I was surprised with the Z650 we have in the shop. I was like, it's a tiny bike. Why is it so small?
And it gets the smaller the more time you spend in the seat.
Yeah, and the bars are like this. I'm like, why is this bike so small? Yeah. So good meme. Very, very good.
Effectiveness.
I think a 2? A 2.5?
I think a 2. Or maybe
2.
a 2.5.
I think a 2 is fair.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Quality.
Pretty good for quality, I would say. How about an 8?
An 8.
Pretty good of a whole video,
And then funniness.
I laughed pretty good at that.
Yeah.
An 8 as well, you think?
8?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe a 7.
7? Yeah, okay, I think
Yeah.
a 7's fair. Yeah.
Which is enough to be our new leader.
Ooh, 15.
Now, Bad Assler comes to play.
Welcome to Kyle's Kingdom. Kyle. Kyle's doing this. Kyle's doing that. Kyle's punching drywall. Kyle. You're not a fucking Kyle. Kyle. You don't look like a Kyle at all. Kyle. Your true Kyle is showing. Fucking Kyle. Yeah, Kyle? What's in your hand, Kyle? What's in your hand, Kyle? A little bit of Kyle in all of us. Smells like water in here. Who's the virgin?
Nice. Yeah.
That was a good one.
That's pretty good. Yeah. It's just too easy with the Kawasaki boys and the Kyle memes. It is the Kyle bike.
Absolutely.
No
100%.
doubt. Team Green. Yeah. Amazing. I think for effectiveness, well, here's the thing. Basically, what it was saying is that Kawasaki is Kyle's, and they're basically like Chad and Alpha, and they're better than Yamaha. What did it say at the Yamaha at the end? It was like they're weak or something?
It's who's drinking water? It smells like virgins in here.
Oh, nice. That's pretty fun. I think a 2.5.
A 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's gonna come down to the last Kawasaki meme. Do we have a tie or do they take over?
Maybe. We got to get his ratings in. So
quality.
For quality for Bad Assler, that was quite good. It was timed really well, cut really nice. I think a 9 is in order for quality.
Agreed.
Feels pretty good to me.
Funniness.
It's pretty funny. Pretty funny. What do you think? An 8?
Yeah, I think an 8.
Yeah, an 8's
That's
in
a good
order.
solid one.
Yeah.
Which that is a 17, our new front runner.
Front runner, Bad Assler.
Last one, and this guy submitted his own YouTube video, so I have to pull it up in a different tab. This is Teshin.
Yamaha. Are they the quintessential squid missiles that everyone makes them out to be? Or are they just the default fail that everyone with half a brain cell picks?
Oh my god. Oh.
Everywhere you look, you see clapped out R6s for sale by some wannabe Chad that can't even tell you where the oil filter is, let alone if it's been changed in the last 10,000 miles. It's not like they ever make it past 1,000 anyway before trying to trade to a different machine. Sure, the 270-degree crank sounds good, but that's just to distract you from the generic dark roast coffee of motorcycles that your former man-bits are caressing.
Wow.
Kawasaki understands what you need in a bike. You need performance. You need rideability. Oh, you got an R6? Crushed it with a 636 so hard it's now discontinued. What about an R3?
That is a
here's a Ninja
dang
400
canooner on that
to cradle your massive
400.
brain and manhood around the track and around town.
You know where that is,
For the
right?
real fast
Yeah.
boy,
Yeah.
there's Kawasaki. For everyone else,
Oh my god, hold on, pause on this video. Do you see these forks? Oh
Look
my
at that.
god, that is disgusting.
Drop the shit out of it.
On an R1. Oh,
This is an R1M because it's got the
Yeah.
semi-active suspension.
oh no. Oh no, my brain. It hurts everything.
Just doing that. This is on that one stretch of highway up in Dallas.
It is. Yeah, the Dallas Autobahn. The LBJ toll road.
the land that Busa's own.
Yep. Yeah, literally on that road, it's so crazy because you enter it and it's like, it's no man's land. Go as fast as you want. There's nobody down there. It's nuts. Yeah, it's a fun road. That was pretty effective.
Yes.
If for nothing else, that nooner that was being pulled in that 400 might be the greatest Ninja 400 wheelie I've ever seen in my life.
Watch how slow the front tire is spinning. This dude has been balancing it for a while. Look at how
about an R3?
slow the
Look
front
at
tire
that.
is
here's a
spinning.
Ninja 400.
Jeez.
That dude had ripped a massive nooner.
That is solid. Solid wheelie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So effectiveness here.
Man, that's a 3 for sure. No doubt that's a 3 for effectiveness.
Yep.
And I know what's going to happen now.
That means Kawasaki has taken it. They are the king of the big four.
The Kyles have won, much to my detriment of my love of Yamaha. I cannot deny the Kawasaki boys, the Kyles, have won the meme challenge.
They take the day.
Jeez.
Now quality here.
Quality, that was really solid. It was narrated. He had a script. He had clips. 10 for quality? Or is 10 like sort of like transcendental?
I think 10
What have we given 10s before to quality?
10s have been like the one 10 that sticks out in my brain is the one that German A2 boy did with the like anime thing.
Yeah.
Back when
It
we were
was
doing
so
Hayabusa
good.
memes.
So good.
10 is like it goes on Instagram.
It's legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. This isn't up to that level.
Yeah.
I think it's a 9.
A 9.
A 9,
I agree.
definitely. Yeah.
Now funniness.
It was really funny too. I got a good chuckle out of it. 8?
Yeah, I think an 8.
I think an 8. Yeah.
Which means we have a runoff between Bad Assler and Teshin for number 1.
Oh shit. 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 Oh sh What happens now? Have we had this before?
Yeah, we've had runoffs. We gotta go in and determine who takes.
Oh, that's right.
Second place.
Yeah. Damn.
So, or our first place rather. So this was the.
This was Teshin, right?
Yep. So it was all the jaunty piano in the back, off key.
Yeah.
The massive bins.
Yeah. This one just hurts. I'm like, how, dude? Just go where the you're not even going fast. Go where the road's going.
And this dude just stalls out.
I mean, here's the thing. Go back, because Badassers is just like, it was just clips of Kyle cut to images, right?
Yeah. So this.
Yeah, I think based on the fact that Teshin wrote his own script and did everything, I think it has to be the winner.
Yeah, I think
there was a narrative, there was a story being told.
There was a little bit more effort that went into Teshin's than Bad Assler's.
Yeah, so let's crown him the victor.
Yep. So we have our first place going to Teshin, our second place going to Bad Assler, and
who's third?
Our third place going to Rambo Sudafed.
Nice.
Yep.
It's almost as if putting in a lot of effort and making a video means you will win on the Yamcast. So just so everyone at home knows, these people actually have won now gift cards and gear and all kinds of cool stuff,
yep.
Right?
So first place is a $100 Revzilla gift card.
Yeah.
Second place is, I'm not entirely sure, because Germany 2-Boy won last time, and we have to send him a $50 gift card because we ain't sending anything in the mail all the way to Germany.
No.
And then third place is a pick of gear from our giant pile of gear in the back that's all Eurocycle stuff.
Nice. That's a pretty good prize. Well, thank you so much to everyone who submitted memes. And now we know objectively that Kawasaki is the greatest of the big four.
Unfortunately.
If only it was Suzuki. I feel like I could simp for Suzuki easier than Kawasaki.
Yes.
Even though I've said multiple times, literally earlier, I was like, I want a 400 prep for endurance racing. I'm like, if my Daytona dies, I'm getting a 636. Maybe I'm a secret Kyle. Maybe I'm a secret Kawasaki boy. I don't know, man. I don't know what to... You want a KLX?
You don't drink Monster, though.
I really don't. It's like nuclear poison. It's disgusting. I can't do it. Yeah. Yeah, maybe 2021 is the year we both ascend to Kawasaki ownership. That'd be the darkest timeline.
Yeah. You're going to get a ZX14 now?
Swap the Busa. That's the biggest plot twist. Everyone thought it was Turbo Busa. It's Nitrous ZX14. Has to be a Turbo Busa. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Now, how you doing, partner? This video's over, but you click on this one right over here. You keep watching yourself some Yammie Noob. Maybe I bend my Busa on this one. Maybe I'll give you some other funny memes or something like that. You might not know if you watch the video. So watch the video now, all right?